just talking about the future, but building it face to face. We don't equal permission. We don't grow alone. Every conversation matters. Every seed we've sown. This is Elevate Your Growth, where the vision gets louder, where we rise together, and the move makes you stronger. Pull up a seat you belong.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today we have a special guest. We've got Sean Douglas, speaker extraordinaire. So excited to share some information with you today on basically how you position yourself in the market. And if you're not controlling it, then the market will control you. Yes. So welcome in, Sean. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm so good. It's such an honor to have you here, and I'm so glad that you're going to have your wisdom share this.
Yeah,
Yes.
super excited.
Yes.
This is something that I'm very, very passionate about. I love positioning. I love category design. I love everything about what it does because most people start off with, I have a brand color and a logo and some fancy stuff there. I know what I do. I know the product that I sell. I know the company, but I don't know anything else other than that. And they miss the category. They miss the company design, the business design. And you can put lipstick on a pig. You can put sprinkles on a turd. You can put, all the things, right? But it doesn't make it work. Okay. In the end,
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, positioning is all about how the marketplace receives and perceives the value that you deliver. That's how I and the people that I work with, that's how we define positioning. It's how the marketplace receives and perceives the value that you deliver. Now, I did not say money or anything else. Money is the byproduct of the value that you deliver. So a lot of people are so focused. I need to make 100,000. I need to make 500,000. I need to make 487,000. I need to make $1 million. I don't know where we got this like million from, but it just doesn't matter. The top 1% earners in the U.S. make above 425,000. Top 1% are above 425,000. What's wrong with making 400,000 a year? Why do we have to make more? I don't understand. Why do we have to make more? So if you want to make $1 million, great. If you want to make 400 and be on 8 softball teams and a golf team, great, got it, do your thing. However, category design is in itself how you design it. So category design inside of positioning. Category design is a little known business discipline used to create and dominate your own market category. That's it. So if I asked you, and we've had this conversation, you and I, many times, right?
Yeah.
If I asked you who the number one soft drink, pop, soda, whatever it is on the planet, do you know what it is?
To me, it's Tahitian treat.
No, but close. Do you know who the number one search is?
Oh, Google?
Do you know who the number one rideshare company is?
Uber?
Do you know who the number one computer company is?
The number one what company?
Computer company.
Computer company. Apple?
Do you know who the number one car manufacturer is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
For some reason, Ford is sticking out, but I don't know if that's true.
Do you know who the number one, what the number one sport is? Just no business. Do you know who the number one sport in the world is?
I would have to say either football or soccer. If I had to guess.
Okay. So you and I are old enough that we remember that search wasn't always search. This proves the first to market theory wrong. Everyone's just got to be first to market. You got to be first to market. You don't. You don't. All you got to do is design the category. Do you remember the first ever search engine ever on the internet?
I want to say Bing, but I feel like that's wrong. I feel like it was something with a duck.
With a what?
Recall what it is? With a
It was
duck? Maybe I'm wrong.
No. So you're thinking of I think it's like DuckDuckGo or DuckGoGo or something like that, which is another search engine.
Yeah.
The original search engine was Ask Jeeves. That was the original.
Yes.
That was the original. Jeeves is the OG. He's the OG.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the first?
That's right.
Do you remember what the first video search platform was on the internet?
Video search? I don't. I just know YouTube.
eBaum's World.
Oh wow.
eBaum's World.
Don't recall that at all.
Uh-huh. I remember being in middle school and high school, going to eBaum's World, trying to find different videos and stuff.
Wow.
And then AOL came out, right? And then AOL came out, and then you're in a chat room, first social media, okay? Then MySpace comes out, and now we got Facebook and everything else, right? So the whole first to market theory is blown out of the water. Google isn't even search. Google is business suite. Now, you brought up Bing. The number one search term on Bing is Google. Why? Because when you buy a new computer, HP, Dell, Compaq, whoever makes your computer, and doesn't come with Chrome installed, right? It's a Microsoft product, right? So you have to go to Google, but you don't have the internet yet. So what do you have? You have Microsoft Internet. So you go to Microsoft Internet or Microsoft Edge, and you type it in to the search, Google, we do not detect Chrome, install Chrome, and then you click out of Microsoft and you never use it again. But why is that? Because they've created a verb. Uber it, Google it, right? We use those as verbs. Why? Because of habits, because of a lot of different reasons, but because they defined the category. They own it. Okay? That's why. Uber and Lyft were not first to market with public transportation or rideshare or anything else. Remember the enterprise commercials? Will pick you up anywhere. This isn't a new concept, right? Enterprise rental car would pick you up wherever you are and take you to because you got to drop the dude off, right? He'll come and pick you up wherever you are, and then they'll take you back to their home office, sign the paperwork, all the things, and you drive away, right? It isn't new. You've had taxis, you've had buses, you've had trains, you've had all kinds of transportation modes, right? But Uber was the first one that designed the category and said, we are ride sharing. So they're really the ones who created the anti-parenting lesson where don't get in a car with strangers. We pay to get in a car with strangers nowadays. Think about that. Never get in a car with strangers. Now we're like 2 a.m. after a bar. Let me call a stranger. Let me pay them. Right? But what's the difference between a taxi and Uber? One's a company and one isn't. One's an independent driver, one isn't. Right? Literally it's the only difference. All they did was create a problem that only they could solve. That's how you position yourself. Create a problem that only you can solve. And then market the problem, not the solution. The number one car manufacturer in the world by volume is Toyota. It used to be BMW. Okay. It used to be BMW, but now it's Toyota. if ever you want to figure out who the best car manufacturers are in the States or in the world, look at racing. A lot of cars, if you look, there used to be Fords and Chevys and Dodge, right? There's not a whole lot of Dodge race cars anymore, but there's a lot of Toyotas. There's a whole Toyota racing team.
Wow.
Right? So why is
Yeah.
that? Why is Toyota so much different than Honda or what, BMW? BMW was number one for years, number one car manufacturer in the world. In the States, it's always the big three, right? Ford, GM, whoever owns the last company that owned the last company before that, who owned the last company before that, who owned Chrysler. I think it's like Stellantis now. But yeah, so how do they position themselves? Coke is the number one soft drink on the planet. And you know this because if certain places that you go to, like Florida or Pennsylvania or somewhere else, they'll say, what would you like to drink? You're like, I'll have a Coke. And they'll say, what
Right.
kind? They mean like Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, like all the things, right? Here in Michigan, if you say, I'll have a Coke, they're going to bring you a Coca-Cola. But not in other parts of the country. In the other parts of the country, a soft drink is just called a Coke. And then you have to tell them, I'll have a Pepsi, or I'll have a Mountain Dew, or I'll have, right? They don't say, I'll have a Coke or I'll have a Pepsi. Certain parts of the country, it's just Coke. And I learned that from being in the South.
Wow.
So how do they position themselves? How do they do it? They design the category by creating the problem that only they can solve. And then they market the problem, not the solution. Category design comes in 3 phases. You frame, name, and claim the problem that you solve. So you and I are both speakers. Let's take speaking. So as a speaker, I could say I'm a motivational speaker, but there's like a million of them people. Okay. So speaking is one of the best examples to use because if I said, let's take construction companies or something else, it's almost not relatable. So let's take the speaking world or podcasts. There's a podcast, 3.8 or so million podcasts available. I think it's almost a 5 now podcasts. So how do I choose who's the best people that are podcasters, or what show should I listen to that is amazing? So we're always going to go to the celebrities because we think that they're smarter. We're always going to go to the people that have 300, 400, 500 episodes, right? So if you look at the podcasting world, podcasting is not new. It's been around since the 90s. A small little computer company called Compaq Computers created the podcast, but it was called audio blogging because the internet was there in 1998, 99, 2000. We had the internet, and it was called audio blogging. That's what they called it because Compaq wanted to create an internal system for their people to listen to updates and news and all the things. They said, let's just do an audio blog. They could just listen to it. So instead of writing an article, they were doing audio blogging. Well, when Apple came out in 2004, who was the number one computer company, which is so funny because Dell Computers made flat screen monitors. They made all these other pieces of tech, but nobody bought them because they were labeled as a computer company. Notice I said, who's the number one computer company? And you're like, Apple. Apple's not even a computer company. They're just a tech company who happens to make great computers, who happens to make great phones, who happens to make iPods and readers and like Apple TV and like, but so you're telling me that a computer company named Dell goes and makes a flat screen TV, nobody buys them, but Apple TV and everybody buys it, but aren't they a computer company? Again, the way you're positioned matters. It's the way the marketplace receives and perceives the value that you deliver. We buy a whole bunch of things from Apple, but they're just a computer company. But why wouldn't you buy all of the things from Dell, who is a computer company? See what I mean? IBM. When's the last time you seen an IBM computer somewhere, right? The only ones that I'm aware of are HP, Toshiba, Dell. I'm probably missing some, but like volume wise, that's probably the big three, right?
Yeah.
There's
Mhm.
Acer, but that's like a Walmart brand. Nobody buys that, you know? And
Yeah.
if you want a really nice computer, you're probably going to go with an HP or a Toshiba or an Apple or something, right? There's only a couple brands.
Yep.
But why? Why the brand, though? Most people aren't buying brand. Why are we buying Nikes? Because it's what they stand for. It's their positioning in the market. They told you that this is for athletes. This is for whatever reason. The college logos have a little Nike right here, right next to the Big 10, Big 12, right? It's up on their shoulder. If you ever look at the college football jerseys, there's a little Nike right there.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, right here would be NFL logo, and then right underneath that would be Reebok, Nike, whoever was producing the jerseys at the time. Now I think it's down on like the bottom part or whatever. But Under Armour, like, why would I buy Nike versus Under Armour? Who is the number one shoe company? You could do this all day long. It's those that define the category that wins. When you define your category, you earn 76% of the market generated value inside of that category, while everybody else has to play for the remaining 24%. They have to fight for all of the 24%. So in the speaking world, you have motivational speakers. Well, somebody was like, oh, you got to be different. Okay. Inspirational speaker. No, you got to be different. Transformational speaker. No, we got to be different. I'm a speaker in a motivational style. It's all the same thing. But who are the top speakers in the speaker world? Okay. They could be OGs because they built the name. There's some people who are 60, 70, 80 years old. Tony Robbins is the number one motivational speaker on the planet. And during the pandemic, he's like, I'm not even a motivational speaker. He changed. He got rid of that. He's like, I don't want to be a motivational speaker. He calls himself a master life strategist. That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he categorizes himself. He's a master life strategist. A couple of the other speakers, like Simon Sinek. Is Simon Sinek a motivational speaker? What does Simon Sinek talk about? Leadership. If you look at some other speakers, what do they talk about? Who's like Brené Brown? Courageous. Courage. Right? You've got military speakers like Jocko and David Goggins. You've got Tony Robbins. You've got Brené Brown. You've got Mel Robbins. What does Mel Robbins talk about? Her brand new thing that came out in the past was the let them theory.
Let them. Mm-hmm.
And she's not a motivational speaker. Like, what is she? Right? So when you say, who's the best speakers in the world? They're like, oh my gosh, Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins and all these other people, right? But if I said, okay, that's great. Who's the number one leadership? And John Maxwell does leadership. Simon Sinek does leadership. Mark Sanborn does leadership, right? Brené Brown's not the only one who talks about courage, but she is the only one who talks about her category of speaking, which is, I think it's like blind courage or there's a word in front of courage, but she did a whole TEDx talk on it. That's her thing. That's what she believes.
Is it bold? Is it bold courage?
Bold courage. Yeah. Yeah. And she is a phenomenal speaker. So what separates the speakers in the world that are not motivational speakers? What separates me and you from all the other speakers, the hundreds of thousands of speakers that are trying to get booked every single year, is because we position ourselves differently. We position ourselves as in, it's not the topics that we speak on so much as the audience that we speak on, but it's how we're positioned to speak on the topic, right? So I'm not the only speaker that talks on resilience. I'm not the only speaker that talks on leadership, obviously, but here's how I position through the noise. I tell people, the event planners that I'm talking to, I say, I'm a certified John Maxwell leadership speaker. That instantly credibility, it gives me instant credibility. Now, I follow that up with, I served 20 years in the military, and I've been leading teams all around the world for upwards of 15 years. And they're like, this is so great. It's very different when you're leading a team in a company than when we're leading a team in Afghanistan, Iraq, right? It's very different. How do you get a team to lay their life on the line? How do you get a team to encompass those core values and then go out into battle? There's a lot of leadership experts like, well, real leadership's this and real leadership's that. Great. Go tell the troops that and see how far that gets you. It takes a certain kind of leader to lead people, right? And when I was a drill instructor for Air Force basic training, and I say it on stage sometimes when I'm talking about leadership, especially when I speak to military, I speak to a lot of military. And I'll tell them, I said, the best case of leadership, the best idea and expression of leadership comes from Sun Tzu in the book of Art of War. And Sun Tzu says, look on your soldiers as your children and your only begotten son, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. They will follow you even unto death. So he's saying, like, look at your soldiers as your children. Look at them as your only son, and they will follow you everywhere. So there's a level of empathy there. It's like a mentor, a coach, a parent, loving, kind, like all the things. He's telling you exactly how you should be. I always looked at me as a parent like, I don't want my kids to follow me out of fear. I want my kids to follow me because they would feel bad if they didn't. I'd almost want to guilt my kids into following me because I'm such an amazing dad and loving dad that they're like, well, like I kind of have to because like that's my dad and like I love him and I don't want to let him down. And they're like I want that. I would rather them say those things than say, oh no, I got to do it because my dad will beat me. Oh, my dad will hurt me. Right. Oh, my dad will kill me. Right. You know, right. Like that's how my mom, when I was a kid, led with fear and a belt. Some kids had elf on a shelf. We had belt on a shelf. So I want to lead with love and kindness. And I tell my children all the time, lead with love and kindness. I choose love and kindness always. And so that differentiates me from the parents that don't. That differentiates me from the dads that don't, the leaders that don't. And so when we're talking about positioning and category design, you have to create a problem that only you can solve and then market that problem, not the solution. When I talk to event planners, I'm always asking them, what type of leader are you looking for? And there's a couple different ways that you could ask these questions. If I ask somebody, what type of leader or what type of speaker are you? They usually will say, oh, I speak on this and this and this. I'm like, I didn't ask you your topics. I asked you what kind of speaker you are, what type of speaker. And then you can tell the ones that know their stuff and the ones that are still trying to figure it out because they'll go, oh, well, like I'm, well, the type of speaker that I am, I'm very like outgoing and energetic. And I'm like, great. What type of speaker? Like, what kind of speaker are you? And then they go, but if you ask somebody who's seasoned, they'll say, if you ask somebody that's been doing this a few years and you say, what type of speaker are you? They'll say, I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a breakout speaker. I'm a curiosity-driven leadership speaker. I'm a conversational keynote speaker. Like they will tell you their category of speaking. What kind of speaker are you? They'll say, I'm an inspirational speaker. I'm a motivational speaker. They will give you the category. Those that have got it figured out and their business is thriving, they know exactly the category that they're playing in. Oh, I'm a women's empowerment speaker. I'm a this type of speaker. They know it. They don't say, well, I speak on this, and a motivation. They don't laundry list all these things. I didn't ask you all that. But then you could ask them, what do you speak on? Oh, I speak on resilience, leadership, team building, team performance, and business positioning strategies. So that's what you speak on. If you ask them a direct question, they're going to give it to you every time. If you asked a speaker, how do you deliver your message? They'll usually say something like, I'll deliver my message through a PowerPoint presentation. I'll deliver my message on stage in a very motivational way. They can't articulate their delivery style. All of that differentiates you and categorizes you as a speaker. So the category that I created was the conversational keynote experience. That's my type of speaking. That is who I am as a speaker. And that's why people bring me in to speak. And every time I'm on the phone with an event planner, I'll say, what kind of speaker are you looking for? Oh, we got to have somebody dynamic. We got to have somebody engaging. We got to have somebody interactive. We just want a lot of fun. I'm like, great. And they never say really anything else other than that. But I took it a step further. So what happens is I'm on the phone with an event planner, and so I'm going through these questions, and I say, well, can I tell you what I offer? And I'll say, I offer what I call a conversational keynote experience. It's what I'm most known for. The conversational keynote experience is never death by PowerPoint. That's how I took it a step further. It's never death by PowerPoint. Matter of fact, I don't even have slides unless someone makes me have slides. But I don't usually have slides. But what it is interactive, it's engaging, it's high energy, and we just have a ton of fun. And they go, oh my God, I want that. I know they want that because a gajillion event planners told me that they don't want somebody boring. They want somebody dynamic, interactive, engaged. I'm just using their own information to them. I'm just telling them what they've already told the world. And so when I come in and I say, what kind of speaker are you looking for? And they say, well, we're really looking for a leadership speaker, maybe strategic leadership, organizational leadership, something like that, which are all categories, by the way. Organizational leadership, generational leadership, something like that. We just want somebody fun. I was like, well, here's what I speak on. I speak on resilience, leadership, team building, team performance, and business positioning strategies. My two most requested keynotes are building resilient leaders, companies, and organizations, and transforming high performers into unstoppable achievers. I have what I call, and what I'm most known for, is a conversational keynote experience. It is never death by PowerPoint. It's always interactive. It's engaging, high energy, and we just have a ton of fun. If you're looking for a boring speaker, that's not me. I'm not boring. As you can tell, I'm pretty high energy. And I would really love to speak at your event. And they're like, yes, that would be incredible. I'm literally using their own language to tell them what kind of speaker I am. Now, think about how many times you've had conversations with customers. Your customers will tell you, I'm looking for a business who does this and this and this and this. Your customer doesn't care about top of line and funnels and all the crazy stuff that comes. They don't care about that. Can you do the job and can you come in on budget and can you, right? So imagine if you're a business owner and you're like, listen, we're fully customizable to your needs. We come on or under budget every time and on time. You're like, yeah, I want that. You know, like you're already like overcoming every single objection. There's so many sleazy, spammy, salesy, sleazy tactics out there to get sales. They're like, you have to overcome objections. Tell them, like upfront, like tell them. There's never anybody ever that says, oh, really? You're interactive and engaging and not death by PowerPoint? Jeez. We were looking for that 72-point PowerPoint presentation, that 72-point slides.
Yeah.
I was really looking to come over budget on this. You know, I was really looking to overspend. Right? Like you tell them what they already want. Right?
Yes.
So when you're having a conversation with a customer who's like, I need this job done, think about your customer journey. We provide the service for you on time, on or under budget. What are they going to say? No, under budget, get out of here. No. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
now that you've said the budget conversation, right? Because sometimes they'll say, "Oh, that's amazing. We're really looking for someone that really fits in our budget and all the things," right? Once I hear those key words, right, about money and budgets and things, I'm like, no problem. My speaker fee is all inclusive up to a full day. All inclusive means I pay for my own travel and expenses at no extra cost to you. What they don't know is that I've rolled $1,000 or $1,500, whatever, into the speaker fee, right? But it's all inclusive. I'm not going to be like, my speaker fee is $4,000, but I'm going to charge you $55. I'm just going to charge the $55. They don't need to know it. They don't need to know any of my business model, right? So what I'll say I'm all inclusive and up to a full day. All inclusive means that I cover my own travel and expenses at no extra cost to you, which they love. They're like, yes, because here's what speakers do. I'm $5,000 plus expenses. Do you know how I overcome the objection? Do you know how I overcome the objection on that? Some speakers hate me because here's what I say. I'm all inclusive up to a full day. All inclusive means that I cover my own travel and expenses at no extra cost to you. I'm not a plus expense speaker. Some speakers are $5,000 plus expenses. Those speakers are going to nickel and dime you for the first class flight, the BMW rental car, and the presidential suite. I can pay for that stuff on my own. I don't need you to pay for it for me. They're like, oh, thank you. Yeah, where do we sign? As soon as I say that there's no nickel and diming, these speakers are going to do this. They're going to nickel and dime you for the first class flight and the BMW rental car. And as soon as I start saying all that, they're like, you know what? You're so right. You're all inclusive. You'll pay for it yourself. Done. What did they do? Say, no, it's okay. We'll get the hotel and flight. No, we'll get it. Like, think about it, right? Think about it. So good. Think about the business now. Do you think the customer's like, could you take a week to do the job? I really need it done in 2 days, but I'll give you a week. Like, no. Yeah. They're like, when's the fastest? What's the cheapest? Think about your own spending habits. Are you wanting to spend over budget? Are you wanting to come out of pocket? If you're not going to do those things, guess what? Hardly anybody else is either. Right? So
good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Part of category design, and a big part of category design, is framing and then naming the problem that you solve. When you're talking to event planners, they have a desired outcome. They have a problem that they need solved. Guess what? So does every other business on the planet. Your job is to provide a service, program, product that fulfills a gap in the marketplace and solves a problem. That is why you're hired. You are solving a problem. You're not hired on looks. You're not hired on anything else. Everybody is so over-rotated on here's my colors and here's my logo and here's my thing and here. Yeah, got it. Cool, got it. But you got to design the category. People do business with those that they know, like, and trust, right? What's the fastest way to get to the know, like, and trust factor? The fastest way is to become a category king or queen. So how do you do that? Frame the problem in which you solve in a way that is emotional for them. So create a problem that only you can solve and then market that problem. So when you walk into Walmart, you go grocery shopping. Well, let's see what kind of clothes they got. Well, let's see the electronics. Oh, we'll see the toys. And we'll see the gardening. And we'll see that. And then you've got all kinds of different categories of products. But when you go into CVS, you go in there for one thing. I need headache medication. I need to pick up a prescription. You're there for one thing. You're not window shopping at Walgreens. Let's see what Walgreens has on the shelf. Like, nobody goes window shopping at Walgreens, right? You're there for a specific reason. Be CVS. Don't be Walmart. And even then, Walmart is its own category. Budget retail. That is Walmart's category. People said, well, I mean, Target's, no, Target is retail, right? The mall, the stores, the clothing stores, that's retail. Walmart is specifically budget. Actually, as a matter of fact, they call themselves wholesale retail. That's what Walmart's category is. wholesale retail. Because if I go to the grocery store, can you even name another grocery store besides either like Target's got some groceries and stuff you can buy there, Walmart, people go grocery shop at Walmart, or like in the South, in North Carolina, they had Harris Teeter, which was the most beautiful grocery store, right? I mean, oh my God. It's like high end, man. It's like Beverly Hills grocery store.
Yeah.
Other than that, are there really any other grocery stores? Not really.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna tell you about a grocery store that blew Harris Teeter out the water. It's up north.
Okay.
It's called Wegmans.
Oh, Wegmans. Yes. Yeah. 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 You better wipe your feet going into that store. You better wipe your feet.
So
Girl.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a couple of different ones, like Publix is a big one. I go grocery shopping at Meijer. Meier's big in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania.
When we lived in Ohio.
Oh yeah. Meier's is huge. Nobody goes to Walmart to go grocery shopping. They go to Meijer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you need, like, I've never encountered a Walmart until I left Michigan and went somewhere else. And I was like, is there a Meijer here? They're like, oh, what? What? I'm like, what do I get? They're like, just go to Walmart. I'm like, what the hell's Walmart? Like, we only went to Meijer as a kid. And I left Michigan in 2001. And I'd never seen a Walmart in my life. I can't name a time I ever went to a Walmart. So how do we do it? Create a problem that only you can solve. And then market the problem, not the solution. So how do we create a problem? We create a problem by filling the gap that everyone is looking for. So everyone is like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Where can I? What do I like? There's all kinds of ways to ask the question, but you need to figure out how to fill the gap. And there's always a gap in the marketplace, always. What I do better than anybody else is I book speakers to speak, period, the end. That's what I do all day, every day, better than anybody else. But how do I do that? It's because on social media and all the things, and even myself, how do I get booked? Like, how do I find the event planners? Like, because that is the gateway to speaking, right? As a business owner, I said, okay, what service can I provide, or what can I give? So I built a antique and collectible store. And I didn't say I have an antique collectible store because no one's going antiquing. So what are they doing? Here's how I marketed the problem that I solved, okay? I said, my store is going to be called Vintage Dreams. One timeless treasure at a time. And so people walked in and I would market it by saying, do you remember that lunchbox you took to school in 3rd grade? It's right there on the shelf. Remember that camera you had as a kid? Remember in the 70s, your dad or your parents or whatever? I tie an emotional memory to that item and they're like, oh my God, I have to have that. And I would sell my face off. And they said, who's your favorite NASCAR driver? I got a couple Jeff Gordons over here. I got a couple Dale Earnhardts over here. I had a girl come in one time, about 12 years old, and she said, oh my God, I love photography. And I had a 1941 camera from World War II. And she was like, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. And it worked and everything. And it's fully functioning. And I said, I got it priced for like $40 or something, whatever it was. She was like, I only have 20. I'm like, tell you what, I want to live by my slogan. I want to live by my business model, one timeless treasure at a time. How about this? How about you pay the $20 that you have? You pay the $20 for the camera. For the next 3 weeks, you come and talk to me about photography on the weekend and show me what you're working on. And she was pumped.
Wow.
The next Saturday, she comes in and she's like, look it. And she had framed on the board on a canvas. She had put a picture right on a canvas. She's like, look at this. Oh my God, just look at this picture. It was really good. It was like black and white. I was like, that's so cool. And then the next week she came in and she's like, here's the pictures that I took. And she's got some pictures, and she's looking at them. And she's like, I'm like, wow. And like she developed them and everything,
Wow.
And then she took pictures of cameras, taking pictures. I thought that was really cool. It was very meta, right?
Yeah.
So there's like a picture of like a digital picture of like it was kind of cool how she did it,
That sounds so
I said,
pretty.
that's cool photography. She was pumped. She was excited, and I made a sale and I got to learn about photography.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool. That's the experience. That's why people buy, is because they can't get the experience anywhere else. When I walked into Harris Teeter, I'm like, good Lord. Like everything is so nice. Everything is facing. Yeah. There's nothing on the floor. There's not like everyone has their clothes on. Like this is amazing. Oh my gosh. Harris Teeter, you're so nice. So nice to me, Harris.
Yes.
And then I go to a Walmart and I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Different experience.
Like it's a completely different experience.
Yeah.
So I started going to Harris Teeter all the time. They're a little more expensive, but like the experience was amazing. It's the difference between going out to eat at McDonald's and going to Rainforest Cafe, going to Hard Rock Cafe. You can get wings anywhere. Why do you go to B-Dubs? So people can do business anywhere they want to. Why do they do business with you? It's because you're speaking their language. You created a problem that only you can solve. And then you become the category king. So now you got to name it. You framed it. You framed the problem. Most speakers spend 99% of their time looking for gigs, researching gigs, trying to get booked, and spend 1% of their time on stage. So are they really speakers? I tell speakers that they're marketers who market their speaker business and not actually speakers. If you work with us, right? And then I go into the whole thing, right? I frame the problem in a way that you'll spend all of your time trying to get booked and not actually speaking, right? Unless you're like a professor and you speak for like 8 hours a day, then you're actually a speaker. Yeah. But then you and I both know there's another business model, and they confuse what a speaker is. A speaker is someone who gets paid to speak at an event. A speaker is not someone that pays to speak at an event in a hope to pitch from stage, in a hope that they get some clients. That is a coach using a stage, using speaking to get clients. They are not a speaker. A speaker is someone who is a profession, a professional speaker who speaks. That's their profession. The pay to play and pitch fest and all that, they are coaches using the stage, using the speaking platform in order to gain clients. Now, they could use Facebook ads. They could use Google ads. They could use anything else. They could use TikTok. But they've chosen that event to speak at that event to get clients. Those are coaches,
right?
Not speakers. So now we get to define the category. So once you claim the problem that you solve and you name it. So what I created was the conversational keynote experience. That's naming. I framed the problem. You don't need another boring speaker. What you need is someone interactive, engaging, high energy, and we're going to have a ton of fun. And that's what I call a conversational keynote experience. They're like, I want that. I framed the problem. I gave them the name. I named it.
So good.
So now on podcasts, people have like a leadership podcast or whatever podcast. Like mine is called From No Worth to Self-Worth. When I created that, I said, what do I think people are searching for? How do I find my worth? In my description of the show, it says, how do you find your worth in the deepest, darkest night of the soul moment? I'm capturing what people are actually searching for. And I found out what people were searching for on answerthepublic.com. It'll tell
Yes.
you what people are searching for.
Yes.
So if you don't know the problem that you solve,
Yes.
just start typing in a bunch of words and see what Answer the Public gives you. Then solve that problem and make $100,000 from that one problem in 1 year. Then give yourself permission to go on and create something else. That is how you position yourself. If someone said, I need a funnel guy, you're like, I know someone that does funnels. You're not thinking of a car salesman, right?
Right. No.
We all know the people who do the thing, but then when it comes to us, we're like, oh, I can do anything. I do it all. My business does it all. I can do it all. I can do it. No, we need a specialist, right?
Yes.
You're not going to go to a general surgeon and say, I need a craniotomy and some brain surgery, right?
Right.
You're not going to go to a pediatrician and say, this toddler needs a lung transplant. Like that's not right. That's why we have different specialties in medicine. Follow that model. It's modeled for us. Positioning is the value that is received or perceived in the marketplace. You got to do a really, really good job of positioning yourself in the marketplace as a podcaster, as a speaker, as a business owner, as a person, as a coach, whatever it is that you do. You got to be really, really good at positioning because there's about 100,000 people behind you that are itching to take your spot. And if you're failing, and if you're not getting the customers and clients and revenue that you want, it's because you're not positioned correctly. You are not the category king or queen. You are not positioned in the marketplace correctly. There's a speaker that I was working with, and they're a leadership speaker. So eventually we got down to the category and we said, okay, you speak a lot about curiosity and community. You're a curiosity-driven leadership speaker, and you speak on curiosity, community, and connection. Like, yes. Within a week of us marketing that category, he got 2 speaking gigs. Just by saying a curiosity-driven leadership speaker and specialist. Because we said he's a specialist.
Oh, man, that's really good.
And curiosity-driven.
Yeah.
And the leadership guy was like, oh my God, we've been looking for something like that. We want that. So in the title.
It's funny you mentioned that because I kind of inadvertently did that because I'm in the networking space because that is the word that exists that people are synonymous with. Right. But I hate because it is synonymous also with the experience of it being dry, transactional, business card focused. And I said, I'm throwing out the word networking and I am going to be focused on building a relational ecosystem. So I have coined that phrase, describing elevate your growth, because I didn't like what was associated with what already existed. Anti that, right? We're relationship first. We're having a great time when you get in the room. We're all those things. And networking in the traditional sense is not that. So I inadvertently did that out of just like my contempt. Of how it exists in the marketplace. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm working with a guy right now for the last like 4 or 5 months, and he has a book that he's working on. It's networking versus connecting. And so what we've created for him as a category is relationship capital. That's what he talks about. Relationship capital.
That's good. That's
right.
Good.
And he talks to a lot of financial planners. He talks to a lot of business owners. He talks to a lot of sales professionals. Right. And it's all about the relationships that you build, the relationship capital, not networking.
Yeah, that's good.
Relationship capital.
Yeah. That's really good. That's another great one. Yeah, I love that. And I love how you said he works with people in business and finance. So incorporating the word capital is always already kind of vibrating on a financial forward.
Oh yeah.
Synergy.
They're already like,
That's
yep.
so good. That's good.
So that's what it is, because in those places, financial advisors, financial industry, banks, right? You have to create relationships. Otherwise, why are people going to do business with you?
Yes.
But even as a business owner, you got to create relationships, right?
Yes.
So, like I said earlier, money is the byproduct of the value that you deliver. If you're not making the money that you want in your business or anywhere else, even as an employee, I talk about this a lot as an employee, as a matter of fact. If you're not earning the income that you want as a business owner, as an employee, either the company doesn't have enough money to pay the employee, which is sometimes the case, or you didn't ask for a raise, or they didn't give you a raise because they didn't see the value, right? And you will only see as much value in yourself as you have a conscious level of awareness.
Right.
The more conscious you are, the more aware you are, the more value that you see in yourself. When you see a ton of value in yourself, other people will see a ton of value in you as well. And so money is the byproduct of the value that you deliver. If people don't think that what you have is valuable, now, outside of the pet rock, you have to provide value.
Yes.
That guy was a magnificent marketer. I got a bunch of rocks outside. I wouldn't be able to sell them. Like it's not gonna happen. But framing, naming, and claiming the value that you deliver is all about challenging the status quo, creating a problem that only you can solve, and then delivering the most amount of value possible. And that's it. That's how you position yourself.
That is so good. My goodness. Thank you for that. And thank you to everybody that's watching and sees this on a replay. Looks like I'm buffering over on the stream, but this is fantastic. This was really good. I appreciate your time and helping people get clear, because I know that we have a lot of speakers in our community as well that use this type of information on how to position themselves. And I hope it's inspired some business. It's pointed out some things to me that I've done unconsciously, but now understand the power of it too. Even when you mention Google and Uber using their brand and as verbs. Making it commonplace. And I thought about that because that's right. Google is the brand, but when did we start saying, I'll just Google it? You know?
Why don't you turn yours into a verb?
I'll just Bing it.
Why don't you turn yours into a verb?
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because when somebody is like operating in excellence or bringing people jobs, I'm like, I typically text them or I'll say, oh, that is so EYG. And it's like, I didn't realize I was doing it and kind of creating a verb. But when I say, oh, that's so EYG, I'm saying that's excellence. That's integrity. That is, building your relational ecosystem. It's all of those things. So it's crazy.
So the next time you're working with somebody, or the next time somebody shares a win and says, oh my gosh, I got this. You know what you tell them? Elevate it.
Oh, okay.
Elevate it. So they say, oh my gosh, so I have an amazing business idea. Here's what I think. And they go through the thing and you're like, that's amazing. Like, what do you think? You're like, elevate it. Because what do we do when we want to elevate things? Why do we want to elevate things? Because we're thinking too small. You could use your whole brand as a whole category based on one word. If you think that you're making the money that you want to make, elevate it. If you got a really great business idea, elevate it. You start here, but you elevate here. And that's what you can teach us how to elevate your growth, which you already do. But I'm just saying, when people come to you and they're like, I'm at this level, like, elevate it. You came here.
I love that.
But you're leaving here.
Yes.
Right?
I love that.
So elevate it.
Oh, that's so good. And that's why you're the master. My goodness, you guys, make sure you connect with Sean. If you need any help, make sure you reach out to the Corps. Now, Sean, tell them I know that you are a master speaker, so they can obviously reach out to you for any speaking opportunities. But how do you help other speakers get on stages too?
Yeah. So what we do in our agency is exactly what I did here. We go through a whole month-long process of creating the category that you're going to play in. Even if someone says, I'm a leadership speaker, I'm like, great. So John Maxwell and everybody's like ahead of you. Like, we need to do something different, right? But a lot of people don't have the category. They just call themselves a leadership speaker, motivational speaker, all the things. They don't actually have a category. So that's number one that we work on. We work on their category. We work on their positioning. Number one. The second thing we work on is their signature talk and the problem that they solve. Because ultimately, as a speaker, that's why you're hired. You get hired for a desired outcome and you get hired to solve a problem. That's it. You're not hired because of a speaker reel. You're not hired because of a website. You're not hired because of a one sheet. You're not hired for any other reason, not because you look fantastic. It is because you have a desired outcome and you solve a problem. That's why they're hiring you, because you can solve that problem right there. Otherwise, why would you be there? So that's what we work on in our Booked and Paid Speaker Blueprint.
Oh my goodness. Well, guys, make sure you reach out to Sean. He is absolutely fantastic business owner and person. And I'm honored that you are my fan. And I'm honored that you spent time with us today. And so did so many people. And we'll continue to do this in our leadership vault.
There you go.
So thank you, guys. Thank you for watching again, Sean, for your time. And I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Bye. I'm going to end the stream, Sean, but stay there.